Hi guys, I'm Chantal with Growing Up Without Borders. Today we are going to bring you all the way over to the country of Nicaragua. If you have been following our channel for a while, you will have noticed or seen that we absolutely loved our time in Nicaragua. And I think it's because it was one of these unique times in the world where nobody was there. Tourists were staying away because they had political problems. And we had planned to literally just drive through the country. So we were coming from Costa Rica and we were going to just drive through, spend maybe 1 or 2 nights, 3 at the max, and carry on. And then we discovered the little town and area of San Juan del Sur. And when we arrived, it was sunset. It was just the most beautiful place. And it was like pristine in the sense that there wasn't very many tourists. And so the people we met there were just locals and such. And long story short, we ended up staying, I think, well, at least 3, maybe 4 weeks. So yeah, because we went in November. It was the day of my birthday when we arrived that day, and we left in January after New Year's, like the first week of January. So we were there quite some time, and we literally we met the coolest Kiwi New Zealanders there, and we went to the beach every day, and we just hung out. They homeschooled at the time their children, and so did we. So we had this really cool connection with them, and it was just amazing. And along the way, I met with a lady named Gabriela, who is a real estate agent there. And she was working in the town, and we ended up staying at one of their properties up in Pelican Eyes, which had literally the most beautiful view, the most beautiful pools. Everything was just so pretty. So anyway, I thought it'd be really cool to connect with Gabriela just to see what's happening over there right now, what the current situation is, and what's going on during the times of the coronavirus. Are they even affected? I don't even know. But because they're, maybe it hasn't even arrived there. Maybe they're not on lockdown. So we're going to quickly find out and see what she has to say. And if you haven't watched the videos on Nicaragua, I'll put the link up here above so you can just double check that and enjoy. I know a lot of people have watched the videos, and because of our videos ended up going. So I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. And please subscribe if you want us to take you to every country in the world, because that is the plan. Once things open up after the coronavirus, we will continue traveling as much as we possibly can. So make sure you subscribe if you want to come along on the fun. Here we go. Here's Gabby connecting with us all the way from Nicaragua. There she is. Man, so listen, you look like you are by the pool at Pelican Eyes or something. Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, my kids are at the pool right now, so
fantastic.
This is what we do in the afternoon.
That sounds amazing. I wish I was there with you guys to enjoy it.
It would be nice because there's a lot of kids already, so it's always nice to add a couple more.
Oh yeah, my kids would be so happy to be there. Oh my gosh, we miss it. We miss Nicaragua. So listen, I can't wait to hear what is going on in Nicaragua. I mean, all these other countries are in complete lockdown and everything. What is it like right now where you are?
Well, actually, we're not in a complete lockdown. The government has not mandated any form of lockdown. Their big message is to continually wash your hands and keep a distance when possible, but there is no lockdown or quarantine or anything. It's certain areas of the country have decided, where the private sector has come together. We've decided to do a lockdown essentially by choice, though, not mandated. And so here in San Juan del Sur, about a month ago, the private sector came together and decided to close the town essentially. So everything that's not essential is closed. Our real estate office is closed. A lot of salons and that kind of thing are closed. And if they open, by appointment only, or just one day a week or what have you, but essentially everything is closed.
Good. But it sounds like the people have made the right choice without government taking control and saying, look, this is what we're doing. We are going to choose to shut down for our own safety. That's amazing.
Yeah. And, we all, for example, for us, our first worry was our employees, because my family is quarantined essentially, but then we were worried about our employees and their families, and what if What if because they're being exposed due to work, they get their families infected and what have you? And then it's just like a, you know, a domino effect. So we just decided to just close down the office completely, and we've been working online for a full month already.
Wow. Yeah, that's the benefit of what you do. I mean, you can do a lot of your work still by email and phone and so on and so forth. Now, what about the schools?
The schools, the public schools are all still open.
Okay.
They only have about, here in San Juan del Sur, as far as I understand, they only have about 25 to 50% attendance, depending on the school right now. The school that my kids go to, it was almost like within a 3-day period, it went from 100% attendance to like 10% attendance. And like on the third day of this massive decrease of attendance, the principal finally said, okay, I get it. You know, you guys don't want to come to school. I get it. We'll figure it out. And by Monday of the next week, there was a notion of a plan for long distance education. And so our kids started doing Zoom classes. Nobody's freaking out yet. Thankfully, there are no registered cases of COVID here in San Juan del Sur. Everything is super tranquilo. It's kind of been like a long vacation.
Well, it's kind of a nice reset, if you will. Now, what about other areas of Nicaragua? Are they affected?
Like Managua. So the country itself is registering, I think it's 6 active cases of COVID so far, and we have a population of over 6 million, and we currently only have 6 cases of COVID. So
wow, you guys are good. You are safe right now.
Well, you know, I think that the big saving grace for Nicaragua has been that we're by large a very open air country. Like there's very few places that have air conditioning. So like the banks and certain supermarkets and very few stores have air conditioning, and so everything else is open air. So I think that has a lot to do with the fact that we are not getting a lot like that massive contamination or cross contamination of COVID cases.
It could be, I mean, I don't know. It could be so many different reasons, right? I mean, was tourism already down, seeing that a lot of the Europeans already were shut down and everything, or?
Well, a lot of people left. A lot of tourists left. And believe it or not, a lot of tourists that were neighboring countries actually came to Nicaragua when those other countries were closing their borders, because
really?
Nicaragua's borders are still open.
It sounds like everything's under control. I mean, do you think a portion of that is because maybe numbers of cases are not being reported, or do you really feel that Nicaragua is maybe safe and untouched right now?
I think that we didn't have a lot of people coming in that were infected. And so because we started seeing, because Nicaragua was watching very closely what was happening in Italy. Mm-hmm. So since a lot of people in Nicaragua have close ties to people in Spain and Italy, everybody was watching really closely what was happening there. And everybody here adopted a lot of precautionary standards early on, right. Especially if you're in a social status where you can travel to Europe. Usually it's a very reduced amount of people here because it's economically not a very rich country. So we don't have a lot of people traveling. A ton of our population doesn't travel. So that also limits us to not being exposed as much to a lot of foreign cases and what have you.
Yeah.
Do I believe that a lot of cases are not being reported? Absolutely. I think that a lot of cases are not being reported. Our population is considerably young. So in a population pyramid, our bottom demographics, like below the age of 40, is massive in comparison to above the age of 40 is reduced. And again, that goes a lot hand in hand with our past and the fact that there was a revolution and what have you. We did have a lot of people that left the country or just didn't survive. So when peace came back to the country, in 1990, the population, like, we have a more because the stability came back and people were at peace again and families were reunited and couples were reunited and love just blossomed. And so we have a lot of really young people. Our population is considerably young in comparison to other countries. It also goes hand in hand with a education level and what have you, and people having kids young and all that kind of stuff.
Sure. And then it helps in the sense that just people are in general a little healthier than the average elderly, right? So it helps.
Yes. Another thing that we don't have a lot of people with tons of allergies. I don't know what it is, but in Nicaragua, if you're allergic, it's not like, oh yeah, of course, you're allergic to peanuts or allergic to this or allergic to that. It's kind of rare to be allergic to something. So that also goes hand in hand with, our level of health here is pretty good.
Wow. That's interesting that you're saying that. Maybe just the fact that you guys are eating more local produce and everything is, there, it's still very much, you go to the local supermarket and it's all just mom and pop people selling the fruits and vegetables. It's not like you go to the big supermarket grocery store for that. You don't do that. So it's maybe, all those things that come into play, right? Who knows?
Yeah, like that whole, we don't intend to do the farm to table, but that's very much what we do. Like, yes. It's windy as well, and I think we're gonna get our first rain, and the moon and the stars aligned for that kind of stuff.
Oh, wonderful, man.
Yes.
So what about everything else is going well?
Economically, everybody is worried, to say the least. I mean, we're already a financially strapped country. But you know what? The whole world is going through it and everybody is just making the best of the situation and, trying to take it day by day and figure out what needs to be done and how we can get to the following day. And that's really, I think, all we can all do right now at this point. Everybody is in a situation where the instability is, at times crushing, but, you just take a deep breath and, think about what's in your immediate reach and what you can actually make an impact on. And honestly, everything that we can do here, we're fine. Like, there's not much that I can do to change the course of what's going to happen. And all I can do is wash my hands and keep my family safe and move forward.
Yeah. And it could very well be that because you guys have been through so much just in the last few years, financially, politically, with the tourism and the effect of business in general, it could very well be that you guys will come out faster emotionally and, your morale of the country, because it's just another thing to go through. And because they've been through so much already, they're used to dealing with pressure and they're used to dealing with the financial strains and they're used to dealing with crises around them that other countries don't. And so a lot of other countries maybe are in more of a panic than what the people there are going through, right?
I totally agree with what you're saying. I believe wholeheartedly that you are right. This is just another roller coaster for us, we're just like, oh, here we go again.
Jeez, man. Is there just really fast something you'd like to share to get a message out, or I don't know, something to share? This is like people from around the world, and it's really cool to see what's happening in Nicaragua, what's happening in Italy, what's happening. So I'm really connecting with everybody from past trips that we've done. But is there anything you'd like to quickly share with the world?
I mean, the only thing I can really say, which is something that I've been saying a lot recently, is this too shall pass. This, we'll get past it, figure out the deferred payment, figure out the credit card debt, we'll figure out the mortgage payments, we'll figure all of it out. You know what? And the important part is to keep a positive frame of mind. Think about the things that you can actually influence today and tomorrow rather than a month from now. There's certain things that we have and things don't have control over. worry about the things worry about the things you don't have control over, and just do your best. Just do your best to get by, and we'll get through it.
Yeah. Do you remember I was driving with you in your truck and we were going down the hill into the village of San Juan, and you said, my grandfather told me when I was a little girl something about do not worry about what you can't have control over. Do you remember telling me this?
I don't remember specifically the moment I said it to you, but it's something that I do recall. I try to remember that lesson often.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah. All right. Well, listen, Gabby, thank you so much for connecting with us. And till we see you again, all the best to you and your family.
I hope. Where are you right now anyway? Where are you in the world?
We're in the country. We're in New Zealand. Beautiful New Zealand.
Oh, yes. Oh, great. Yeah, I have a friend who just left to New Zealand. Actually, today was the last day that a flight left Nicaragua, and she's on her way to New Zealand to see her family as well. So, yeah.
Very nice. Yeah, it's a good place to be. We feel very safe and secluded from the rest of the world. So it's fantastic.
That president is incredible.
Yes.
She's amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, she's just an amazing president, and or prime minister, I guess they call it here. And she does Instagram lives, Facebook lives, and she's so young and so with it, and they acted so fast, and it just seems like they've got their stuff together. It's very impressive to watch the different governments around the world, how they react. I mean, it's pretty impressive though. We're really in a good spot. So.
Yeah, I hope that she and the president of El Salvador get together, because they're with it. It's awesome.
Wow. Cool. I haven't followed the president of El Salvador. I'll have to check up on that one.
Oh, he's amazing. He's a really young guy. So very, very responsible with the population, and he's done some amazing things to make sure, he converted a convention center into a pop-up hospital, and out of all of the countries in Central America, this is a president who's done just an incredible job of taking care of the population and really looking out for his people. Is just really incredible and inspiring, because he's really young, and the fact that he cares. He put in an economic plan for everybody, different water and electric payments, cable mortgage. Really incredible. For 3 months, he's helping the population, and he passed all kinds of bills and stuff. It's really amazing.
Well, they did the same here. I mean, if people ran businesses here, within 48 hours, I feel like, of the lockdown, they received in their bank accounts 3 months of the salaries paid for their staff. 3 months. So it just relieved all the pressure from all those businesses that their staff are going to be paid. They can keep running their business until the storm's over. I mean, it was just incredible. Now, where is the money coming from? I have no idea. In a country that maybe doesn't have those kind of funds, but it was just unprecedented to see how fast it was implemented and how it was able to keep the people at ease. So is it good? I don't know.
That's insane.
But yeah, pretty crazy.
In the end, every country can print their money.
That's what I feel like.
Every country can print their money. In the end, yes, they're gonna have to deal with inflation and what have you, and payment plans and ways to contract the amount of money that they're putting into the economy. But I think that the benefit is tenfold with the crises of that worry and strain and everything on the economic downfall would be. I mean, I'd rather deal with inflation than with the crises, the economic crisis. So
I have friends that would completely disagree, but that was my question. Can't we just print more money and then just solve everything? But they're like, no, because then you get the same thing like other countries where their value is nothing, right? Like you're saying, inflation. But at the same time, people are going to need help. There's certain countries like Spain right now. Spain's implementing the basic income, and that's coming regardless with robotics coming into the world, just things like that. Like, it's a shift that's happening so fast, and this is kind of like the catalyst of making that shift happen, it feels like, anyway. So
Well, I understand your other friends, because I'm usually very much conservative in financials. I'm usually very cautious. Personally, with my personal finances and what have you, I'm very, very cautious and conservative. So I understand what your friends are saying in terms of, oh my gosh, and inflation and what have you. But everybody has to remember that this is not an uncontrolled, indeterminate inflation. Like, this is a specific amount for a specific amount of time, and then everything essentially, for the most part, goes back to normal, because you halted that panic. You halted the difficulties that come with the panic, not just financial, but health wise and everything else.
of
I mean,
course.
if you halt that, and then you just deal with the increased inflation. That's just kind of like what Trump did with reducing the interest rates and what have you. That's just a playbook move. But anyway, I'm not a policy person, so I don't know all of the details that go along with it, but I do know that I would much rather deal with a finite amount of inflation than this indiscriminate panic that is coming along with not knowing how you're going to feed your kids in 2 months' time or what have you.
Yeah, it's scary, and a lot of people are going through that reality that you're saying right now. That's the questions that are turning in people's minds as they go to sleep every night. That's keeping them awake. We even have a friend, and it's crazy, but she was considering suicide. I mean, some people are already emotionally not as stable as others would be. So you add this to it, you add the news to it, you add all of this, and some people can't handle it as others could.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just crazy. But anyway, then we'll get off that topic of sadness and everything like that. But it was really, I mean, it was so nice connecting with you again. And I see this most amazing, beautiful sunset behind you. I mean, it's just gorgeous. If anyone has not been to Nicaragua, specifically San Juan del Sur, you see what they are seeing? Like, it's just yes. Unbelievable. You guys, you've got the just most beautiful paradise area, and it's so beautiful. So
yeah, it's really, really lovely. There's a reason why we choose to stay. The natural beauty, the people, and just the quality of life is among the top 3 reasons why we choose to stay. Because, we did have a choice. We came to that moment of truth time where we said, this is really happening worldwide. Where do we want to be when this happens? Do we want to be in the US or do we want to be in Nicaragua? And what our choice was. It always comes back to quality of life for us. So we do believe that the quality of life that we have here is just completely superior to what we could have had we decided to go back to the US.
Yeah.
So
well,
here we are.
Well, stay safe where you are. And thanks again for connecting with us. She takes her glasses off. There's Gabby for you.
Yeah, sorry, right. It got dark all of a sudden.
All right, well, listen, it was so nice talking to you, and all the best. Enjoy your sunset and your evening, and say hello to your family for us, from us all, okay?
I will.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Say hello to the girls.
Okay,
all
ciao.
Right, big hugs.
Yeah,
ciao.
Bye.
Oh,
there's
bye.
See you, Gabby.
Bye.
Bye-bye.